The air in Makkah was thick with the dust of ignorance and the heat of persecution. In a large house lived a successful merchant named Talhah ibn Ubaydullah. He was known for his sharp mind, dashing looks, and his family's respected lineage within the Banu Taym tribe. The call of Ahmad and the two tied ones. One day, while returning from a trade journey to Syria, a Christian monk's cryptic words echoed in his mind. A new prophet is arising in Makkah, named Ahmad. Soon after, his cousin and trusted friend, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, approached him, his eyes alight with a new kind of conviction. "Talhah," he said gently, "I have found the truth. I have followed Muhammad, the messenger of Allah." That meeting sealed Talhah's destiny. He embraced Islam, becoming one of the very first 8 people to join the Prophet's sallallahu alaihi wasallam cause. This new faith brought neither wealth nor comfort, only chains. He and Abu Bakr were brutally bound together with ropes by their own tribe, persecuted by a leader who later became known as the Devil of Quraysh. This shared ordeal earned them the joint nickname Al-Qareenayn, the two tied ones. Yet Talhah endured, the flame of faith burning brighter than the torturer's fire. His resolve was absolute. Though he missed the critical Battle of Badr while on a mission for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was assured he would receive the full reward and status of a Badr veteran because of his sincerity and obedience. The day of Uhud, the living shield. Years later, the Muslim community faced its most brutal test outside Medina, on the slopes of Mount Uhud. The battle began with a stunning victory, but due to a critical mistake, the tide turned savagely. The Muslims scattered, confusion reigned, and the enemy focused its entire rage on one target: the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The news spread like wildfire. "Muhammad is killed!" Most men fled or collapsed in panic. But in that chaos, one man fought his way through the surging enemy lines, determined to reach the messenger of Allah. That man was Talhah ibn Ubaydullah. He arrived at the critical moment. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was isolated, bleeding and surrounded by ruthless Quraysh warriors, intent on delivering the killing blow. Arrows rained down like hail. Talhah didn't hesitate. He thrust his body between the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the enemy, becoming a living shield, shouting like a lion, protecting its cub. The arrows pierced Talhah's cloak and skin. Swords slashed his arms and shoulders. Then came the moment that defined his sacrifice. A volley of arrows flew towards the Prophet's head. Talhah saw one particular arrow streaking directly for the noble face of the messenger. Without thinking, he threw his right hand up to intercept it. The arrow struck with devastating force. Talhah let out a cry of agony as 2 of his fingers were crushed and paralyzed, forever leaving his hand crippled. But the Prophet's face was spared. Bleeding from over 70 wounds, sword cuts, spear jabs, and arrow strikes, Talhah stood firm. When the Prophet faltered, Talhah gently scooped him up and carried him on his back, staggering through the hail of weapons until they reached the safety of the mountain. When the ordeal was finally over, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam looked upon the man whose body was a roadmap of sacrifice, the man who had just touched death and returned. The Prophet spoke, his voice filled with reverence. "Whosoever desires to look at a martyr walking upon the face of the earth, let him look at Talhah ibn Ubaydullah. He was forever known as the Living Martyr, Al-Shahid Al-Hayy. And from that day forward, Abu Bakr, R.A., would refer to the event not just as the Battle of Uhud, but as the Day of Talhah. Generosity and eternal promise, Talhah's heroism was matched only by his incredible generosity. The Prophet called him Talhah al-Fayyad, the one overflowing with generosity, acknowledging his willingness to distribute everything he earned. Once, he received a huge sum of money, but was anxious until he gathered the community and distributed every single dirham among the poor and the needy. He often forgave debts up to 30,000 dirhams, having little attachment to his worldly fortune. His life of unwavering courage, boundless generosity, and sacrifice secured his place not just among the heroes of Islam, but among the 10 promised paradise, Ashara Al-Mubashshara. Ultimately, he was given an honor few could attain. The Prophet ﷺ promised that in the eternal gardens, Talhah and Abu Bakr would be his neighbors in Jannah. Would you like to hear the story of another one of the Ashara Al-Mubashshara, like Sa'id ibn Zayd, or maybe a story about one of the great Muslim heroines? Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get early access to all our videos. Click on the bell icon to get notified immediately we post a video.